Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this broadcast. Thank you so much for your continued support. The death of Albert Ojwang is still raising eyebrows as Ruto's State House is now being raided by Kenyan's youth, lawyers, judges, and demanding his removal. And according to former Chief Justice David Maraga, he has called for shutdown UDA government because they are corrupt, they are killers, they are incompetent, and they don't want to listen to Kenyan's voice. They are anger. They are, I don't know how I can describe them, but remember, I always gives you good characteristic of a leader. Now, to Maraga's speech, this is what he decided to issue to the current head of state administration. Demand for regime shutdown. 10th, remember that, yesterday. The Autospy report of Albert Umondi Ojwang, released by the government pathologist, confirms that the young man was brutalized, strangled, tortured, and murdered by the police. This brutal murder falling nearly on the 1-year anniversary of the killing, maiming, and abduction of hundreds of young Kenyans is evidence that William Ruto's administration does not appreciate that the people of Kenya are sovereign. Its administration has threatened lost legitimacy to continue being in power. Police killings and enforced disappearance have increased in geometric progression under this regime. It is normal, not acceptable, and totally indefensible for the enforced disappearance to the rise by 450% in 1 year. We refuse to be a country where parents have their children kidnapped in a broad daylight, tortured, killed by state-sponsored terror. Albert's murder is the last straw. The Ruto administration has for long now taken Kenyans for granted. This is where, as a country, we must draw the line against impunity and the breakdown of the rule of law. It is abundantly clear that this regime will not and cannot govern. We now demand the regime shutdown makes way for a reset to the rule of law and accountability, a restoration to the values respecting human life, and rebuilding of our nation's institutions that now point towards state failure. The proposal, the people shall reset, rebuild, restore. The David Maraga presidential statement. That is what seems to happen. He demands a regime shutdown. It is possible. Well, it's like the current CJ, that is Her Excellency Madam Martha Koome. If she said she demand the government state house to be shut down, it is possible because of one or two reason. Now, whom should we blame? Whom should we blame? Or should we blame all of them? Actually, it is possible we blame all of them. We blame Langat, whichever the name. We blame William Ruto. In fact, Ruto is the worst president Kenya has ever had now, since we got independence. He pretends and he likes shedding crocodile tears. But whatever he's planning behind the scene, only God knows. But I want to challenge them by saying, do you know what? All will die. Everyone will die. Death is for all of us. Moi was a dictator, 8 feet, I'm sorry to say it, in the ground. Today you've killed Albert Ojwang because he was exposing some of your evil mind in this government, thinking that you are going to survive. Remember, no one has ever paid this life with a little amount of money. So according to Maraga, is very much right. Such kind of government administration must or should be shut down with immediate effect. And that is what he has called for. It is better this government to be shut down than we go for re-election or election even this year. We elect someone who is genuine, who is trying to cope up with Kenyans, who is trying to listen to Kenyans, rather than electing someone who pretend to listen to Kenyans and tomorrow or today he will hire 20 advisors. Then when you talk about that, he planned to abduct you and kill you. Ruto Lagat, you have children. Your children will live to testify your all mistake you've done in this administration. I like whatever Maraga is saying. It is true. The parents shed tears. Remember, the tears which the father of the late Albert shed will never go for granted. You must pay for it. You must pay for it. I am telling you for free. It is sad and so painful that you cannot allow you to speak and exercise their right. You are everywhere. Which kind of leader are you guys? Yani wewe badala ufikirie hata hii maendeleo, si hata kama mtu alifanya makosa, si kuna njia ya kufuata. Which constitution allows you to arrest or abduct then kill? Hata kama mtu amekutusi, sisi tumetusiwa mara ngapi hata kwa hii social media platform. Tumenyamaza na tunaongea tu, tunawaambia sawa, turekebishe, sawa, this and that. Ungekuwa mimi hata sahi ungefend kama basi umeogopa matusi. We've been insulted, and not only me, many people. But we are just going and we give you details what we should be done. Kwanza Lagat, huyu Albert ni kama mtoto wako. Ungemwambia hivi na hivi, angeelewa. Mtoto wako akifanya makosa, ukimpiga kofi hivi, atasema daddy ni mkali, sitafanya hiyo makosa tena. And that is what Maraga is saying. Have that leadership character which at least help Kenyans to build this country. Now because you fail and you don't have that leadership character, we must shut it down, and we are going to shut it down. That is what the former CJ has said. He has filed that the removal of this administration, and he demands this administration to be shut down. Not because he is having interest on 2027 presidential candidate, not really, but he felt that pain as a parent, and is seeing what this government have done as if it is something which is not okay. The international community watching, God is watching, the first person watching, and we must pay all our deeds in this world before we leave it. That is the drama.